wants his gold. But how do you transport 211 tons of gold across the seas? Well, by spending lots of money. Experts say Mr. Chavez could spend at least 4% of the total value of his gold on insurance alone, with more on security and transport. Add it all up, and you could get about $500 million spent. That's serious money for any country, let alone one that has negative growth rates as Venezuela does these days. What in the world is Hugo Chavez thinking? People worry that governments are keeping interest rates too low. That will cause inflation and could weaken the dollar and other currencies. So the answer, store gold, something that has always been seen as a solid, substantial hedge against inflation. If everything else collapses, the theory goes, gold will hold its value. For this reason, in the last decade, gold prices have risen more than 600%. Is this a rational response to legitimate fears of inflation? Or are we in the middle of a bubble? There are certainly signs that suggest a bubble. There are certainly signs that suggest a bubble. There are certainly signs that suggest a bubble. The fact is, global demand for gold in industry and jewelry has actually declined by 18% since 2004. And yet over the same period, prices have surged. So it's clear that the market is flooded with speculators who see gold as an investment, not as a usable currency or product. What's really changed in the last few years is access. It's easier to buy gold over the internet than it is stocks or shares these days. You switch on the TV and commercials warn you that you need to put your money in gold. Think about gold prices. Gold has risen to new records. Glenn Beck says if you haven't switched your savings to gold, you're nuts. God, gold, and guns. This is bizarre. A lot of it is simply scaremongering. The truth is that for 2.5 decades, between 1980 and the mid-2000s, gold prices actually declined. Unlike many other commodities which have actual end uses, oil, minerals, gold is just a symbol. As such, its price rises have more to do with psychology and emotion than reason. So when it falls out of fashion, the price could really collapse.
So when it falls out of fashion, the price could really collapse.
So the next time you watch Goldfinger,
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
or hear of the antics of a Hugo Chavez or a Donald Trump, be a little wary. Gold isn't a stock with real earnings. It isn't a bond with interest payments. It isn't oil. It won't help you drive a car. It won't help you light a fire. Yes, you can wear it, but you can't eat it. If doomsday really arrives, a can of baked beans might be worth a lot more than a brick of gold. A can of baked beans might be worth a lot more than a brick of gold.
You've seen those commercials, we've all seen them. They say, send us your gold and we'll send you cash. And it's a tempting promise, especially during the recession, but is it one you can bank on? Consumer correspondent Elizabeth Leamy right here, right now, to tell us the results of her investigation.
Good morning. Here's some of the gold we sent out right here. We sent some of it to the industry leader, Cash for Gold, and also to 2 other mail-in companies that we chose at random, Dollars for Gold and Get Gold Cash.
Now's the time to send your unwanted gold for cash.
Call it the gold rush of 2009. It's suddenly such a lucrative business that industry pioneer Cash for Gold was able to afford a coveted Super Bowl commercial.
I can get cash for this gold medallion of me wearing a gold medallion.
But is it a golden opportunity for you? To find out, we assembled 3 packets of gold and had master gemologist appraiser Don Palmieri and his team verify that every piece was 14-karat gold. Based on the carats, the weight, and the price of gold that day, Don said we could see optimum offers of about $350 for each packet. So we sent our packets off to Cash for Gold, Dollars for Gold, and Get Gold Cash. A few days later, we started getting offers. Get Gold Cash promises reliable compensation on its website. So how did the company want to compensate us? With $206. When we said no thanks, Get Gold Cash immediately raised its offer to $275. But remember, our appraiser said we could get as much as $350 for our gold. The Baltimore-based company later told us it doesn't pay as much as New York buyers do. Next up, Dollars for Gold, which promises top dollar for your jewelry. In a new twist, this company said some of our pieces were only 10 or 12 carats, even though our state-of-the-art testing showed every one was actually 14 carats. Dollars for Gold's offer, $89.71.
We melting gold, baby.
That leaves Cash for Gold, the biggest in the business.
Goodbye, old friend.
Cash for Gold has a D rating with the Better Business Bureau.
That means that we have enough concerns about this company that we recommend caution in doing business with it.
300 customers have complained to the BBB in the past year, mostly about the price they were offered. So what did we get from Cash for Gold? We showed the company's offer to our expert.
Here's what they offered us, $66.05.
Wow. That's incredible.
Incredible how?
It's incredibly low.
We called and asked for our gold back, an option all customers have. Then the company more than doubled its offer to $137.
Does that make it better to you?
It's still pennies on the dollar.
We asked Cash for Gold CEO Jeff Aronson why his company offered us $137, $208 less than we were able to get elsewhere.
Why so low?
That's what that material was worth to me at that time. That's what it was worth to me to process. I make no apologies for pricing whatsoever.
Here is the truth about currency, hyperinflation, and gold. The value of a bar of gold is no different in reality than the value of currency. It is all based on the same economic principles, despite what Republican gold hawkers are telling the public on TV. The only value gold has is whatever value demand has placed upon it as a currency of wealth. But unlike currency, gold is not backed by any economic activity. It is a deadweight economic product. A dollar, a yen, or a franc is actually backed by economic production. Gold is not. Gold has no backing. It is simply a piece of metal, no different than any other metal, except it has even less practical use than copper, titanium, or aluminum. And unlike currency, gold has no status as legal tender, not only not in America, but in most countries on Earth. Not even in Europe. Gold must be converted to currency, or liquidated, before it has any value as wealth. Its daily spot price is based on nothing any different than the daily price of the dollar. But unlike the dollar, gold must first be sold, before it has any value as a form of wealth.